Imagine working 40 years, saving consistently, doing everything right, and finally retiring. You feel free, relieved, excited. You wake up on a Tuesday and don't have to be anywhere. And then 3 years later, the market drops 25%. You log into your account, you're down 6 figures, but your grocery bill didn't go down. Your property taxes didn't go down. Your healthcare costs didn't go down. And suddenly a thought creeps in. Did I retire too early? Am I going to run out? But you don't panic. You don't sell everything, but something shifts. Confidence cracks. This is how many retirement plans quietly break. Not because the math was wrong, but because the structure was fragile. Today I want to show you how to build a retirement income plan that doesn't break when markets get messy. Not something that works in a spreadsheet, but something that works in real life. Most people were trained to think about retirement the wrong way. And for decades, the focus was grow the account, maximize returns, beat inflation, outperform benchmarks. Now, that worked really well during the accumulation years. But retirement is not an accumulation problem. It's a distribution problem. And those are fundamentally different things. When you're working, volatility is just noise. When you're retired, volatility affects your paycheck. That changes your behavior. It changes your psychology. It changes your risk tolerance, whether you admit it or not. And here's the part many people don't say out loud. Even with 3 million, 5 million, 7 million, you can still feel exposed. If it all fluctuates together, it doesn't feel like income. It feels like risk. So let's ground this. If we sat down together, the first conversation wouldn't be about returns. It would be about required income. What must be paid each and every month? Housing, utilities, food, insurance, healthcare, taxes. Let's say that total is $6,500 per month. That's $78,000 per year. Now let's say Social Security covers $3,500 per month. That's $42,000 per year. Now that leaves a $36,000 annual gap just to cover essential expenses. Now let's pause there. That $36,000, should that depend entirely on whether markets cooperate? Because if you're withdrawing it directly from a volatile portfolio, it does. And that's fragility, right? It's not about being conservative. It's about deciding what part of your life should be insulated from volatility. Let's talk about what happens if you ignore this. Two retirees, both start with 1.3 million, both withdrawing $60,000 per year. Both average 6% over 20 years. Now retiree A gets -15 and -10% in the first 2 years. Retiree B gets those same negative years, but not till year 15 and 16. We're looking at the same average return, but drastically different ending balances. Why, you may ask? Because when losses happen early in retirement, withdrawals magnify the damage. You're selling assets when they're depressed. The portfolio shrinks. Future growth compounds from a smaller base. That loss compounding never comes back. That is what is referred to as sequence of returns risk. It's not theoretical, it's real. And the early years of retirement are when you are the most vulnerable because your portfolio is at its largest and your withdrawals have just begun. Now let's look at that same $1.3 million retiree, but structured differently, right? Instead of withdrawing everything from one pool, 2 years of withdrawals, roughly $120,000, are held in conservative reserves. The $36,000 essential income gap is largely stabilized through reliable income sources. The remaining balance is invested for long-term growth. Now let's assume that same -15 year happens. What changes? Well, liquidity covers withdrawals, reliable income covers essential expenses, and your growth assets are not forced to be sold. Psychologically, it's different. Mathematically, it's different. You haven't eliminated volatility, but you've reduced its ability to damage you. That's the critical distinction. We're not trying to predict markets, we're trying to reduce vulnerability. This is where tools like pensions and sometimes annuities enter the conversation. Not as an all or nothing decision, not as a return play, but as a way to stabilize part of the income floor. Some retirees don't need them. Some retirees use them for a portion. The point isn't the product, the point is the role. If something can cover part of your essential income without depending on daily market swings, it deserves consideration. Not because it's exciting, but because it reduces fragility. Now let's layer in taxes. Say you retire at age 62 with $1.5 million in a traditional IRA. You defer withdrawals aggressively, but by your early 70s, that account may be significantly larger. The required minimum distributions begin. You might be forced to take $60,000, $70,000, maybe even more, and it can increase your Medicare premiums. It can increase your Social Security taxation, which can reduce your overall control. Now, a retirement income plan anticipates that. It doesn't react to it. And then there's longevity. Retirement can last 30 years. The early years need flexibility. The middle years often need predictability, and the later years often need simplicity. A durable plan evolves. It doesn't stay static. So when we circle back to that 25% market drop, the real question isn't, did I save enough? It's, did I design this correctly? Most people don't need more return. They need less fragility. And fragility doesn't show up in good markets. It shows up in bad ones. That's when structure reveals itself. If you're within 5 to 10 years of retirement or already retired and you're not completely sure how your income would hold up in a real downturn, that's worth paying attention to. If your essential expenses are still fully exposed to market volatility, if you don't know exactly how your income would respond to a 20% drop, if taxes and required minimum distributions haven't been thought through clearly, then you may not have a retirement income plan yet. You may just have an investment portfolio, and those are not the same thing. So if you'd like a second set of eyes on it, there's a link below to schedule a free retirement income strategy call, and you'll walk away knowing exactly where you stand. If your structure holds up, that's great. If it doesn't, we'll show you what needs attention and help point you in the right direction. Either way, you won't be guessing anymore. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you in the next video.